Hey everyone, it's Sarah here and happy Friday. How are you? I know it's been forever since I did a live stream in here. It's one of the things, when you're in this creative flow, when creativity and ideas are just pouring through you and you're implementing like a mad woman. Sometimes I don't know if you're coming across that, but for me, sometimes it feels like the last thing I feel inspired to do is to hop on a live stream just because I'm expected to. But today I wanted to share something with you that was a part of this creative process. And I was talking about it with my mentor yesterday. And I also heard a conversation with Ali Brown. She was talking to Denise Duffel Thomas. And it was such a fascinating conversation. If you haven't heard it, go to Glambition Radio. Ali's your host. And it was a fascinating conversation about aspiring to do something great, breaking those limits, and moving through fear and shame and guilt on the way to do so. And the topic resonated a lot because on so many levels, this has been my journey. And on so many levels, I am noticing my mentors, the ones that I used to work with, their process, their growth, their evolution from when I first laid my eyes on them and I saw them on this pedestal to the point when we worked together and to the point we overgrown each other. We evolved to the point when we weren't compatible anymore and we both moved on into separate directions. And looking back now, I'm like, it was such an honor and such a joy to work with so many of those amazing men and women. I've had both. And to see them thrive in their respective areas and to be able to be a part of their journey, it is, such a rewarding thing. And to turn the tables when I get in touch with people who have had me on a pedestal, as awkward as it sounds, and when we get together and we start working together and we say, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised by how down to earth you are and how personal you make everything to be and how much you care. I was like, yeah. That's one of the things I really deeply care about. And it's so interesting when I look back on this whole journey, right? When I was starting out, I could see a couple of moments when I was really under this influence of a couple of coaches that I've had, and I could feel my attitude shifting, and my clients could definitely feel my attitude shifting. And it didn't feel quite good, but I was mimicking what I was taught from them. And I thought, if I aspire to be like this person, I have to act like this person, I have to coach like this person, I have to consult like this person, I have to be bitchy as this person, with all the love and respect. And you know what, some of the clients really responded. We created amazing results. Some of them called me out. They said, your attitude has changed and I'm not appreciating it. And I was like, it is so interesting. And the reason I am channeling this, the reason why this is coming through, it's all the part of this growth and evolution and aspiration. And aspiration to become the best version of yourself, aspiration to become like somebody that you're looking up to. And along the way, we are all learning that path to be our own. We follow on somebody else's path. We learn things from them. We, internalize a couple of traits. And then as we keep going, we also learn that along the way, we are shedding all those identities. We are shedding all those methods and all the tactics and all the strategies and all the identities and all the masks and expectations and definitions to really make sure that the journey that we are on is more and more our own. Which brings me to the second part of what I wanted to talk to you about when it comes to aspiration. One thing to aspire to is to become the next version of yourself and the next version and the next version. But then something much more tangible is when you aspire, let's say, yes, working with certain mentors, and you look up to them and it's like, oh yes, I have them on a vision board, and I'm making everything possible to be able to make the deposit, to get into their circles, to hire them, to work with them, to get on their radar, to blow them away with the work and the results. And then there's the aspiration when you're like, I can see myself creating and immersing in a specific environment and go on different experiences with, a particular mentor or just for yourself. And this is something that has been kind of the core of creation of this global experience. I sat back and I really quieted everything down, and I worked through my ego to really center and ground and release a lot of the tangibles that my marketing used to be based on, that would be kind of the tangible confirmation and chauvinistic way of, look, I'm the best because I'm getting those results, and pushing the buttons of the pain to get somebody to sign up. And I was sitting back, I was like, this global experience is calling for me to get beyond all of that. And it was such an interesting feeling that came up. It felt so calm, it felt so elevated, it felt so sophisticated, it felt so positive, that even when I was putting together not just the catalog but the whole branding for it, I was like, I can't see black color, I can't see red jackets, I can't see any of that fitting into this new space. And I have to be honest, it did freak me out a little bit, because sometimes we're so emotionally attached to all the work we have been doing for decades, for many years, for all the investments we have made to get to the point where we are, and all of a sudden it seems like everything's falling apart. But the way I chose to reframe everything, and reframing is a big part of the work that we get to do together, is seeing as a caterpillar. Caterpillar, when it gets into this cocoon, it needs to totally dissolve. It's not holding onto the shape, it's not holding onto this old body of a caterpillar just because it used to be their identity. They are willing, it's part of the nature, but proverbially willing to dissolve into a goo, from which then a whole butterfly forms, a whole new shape, a whole new colors, a whole new anatomy. And evolution and our willingness to do the same as human beings, as entrepreneurs, I think it says a lot about the people who, at the end really swim at the top, the ones who really make the difference, the ones who really make the impact, compared to the ones who stay at the bottom, who are committed to life being hard and challenging, and who are held down by the old belief systems and old habits and old convictions and old behaviors and old thought processes and old energy, and are just caught into this pattern of doing stuff. And I'm not here to judge, I'm not here to call anybody out, and I'm not here to compare one being less than the other, because I know we all have our own paths to walk on. But what I am going to do, I will dare to say that it is absolutely your own responsibility, just as much as it's my own, to make sure that on my own journey, I am willing to do whatever it takes to continuously grow and evolve in a way that moves me forward and towards my greatest purpose, and keeps me curious and fuels my mission and enables me to continuously serve, to show up, to make the world a sometimes I feel we get so caught up in this comparison game, that we kind of think like, what's the point? I'll never have this, I'll never be that, I'll never be able to create this or acquire that, or I don't have a certain amount of money yet, I don't have a certain amount of followers yet, I don't have certain status, I don't have certain recognition, I don't have, and we compare ourselves to others. And yes, in that frame of mind, in that state of being, it's so much easier and more comfortable to stay where you are. And as much as it can be painful to watch your dreams die and the inner voice being muted, and I'm telling you, it comes out one way or another. You try to mute it, it comes out. Perhaps it's health, or you even manifest it through your kids' health or the marriage, or whatever is meant to come your way, whatever lesson you're meant to learn. Life is going to make sure you learn it, and the more you resist, the harder is it going to get. So I guess what I'm saying here is, it is absolutely our own responsibility to be open, willing, ready, available, and daring to open up to this journey and go on this journey and embrace this journey, knowing that, hey, even through hardship, even through the times when we are literally dissolving and everything seems to be falling apart, or are we ourselves need to dismantle things that we have worked for so hard. We had sacrificed so much and we have invested so much to get them done. We have to be willing to take them apart, to dismantle them, and take the next level up view, and the next level up, and the next level up, and look further and further and further and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then redefine, reframe, recreate, release. There's going to be a lot of releasing. And I'm not saying, that with this energy that I'm coming to you with today, there's not going to be days when I will be called to show up as this powerhouse, calling you out on all your BS and pressing all the buttons and squeezing your wound to make it even more painful, to make sure that all the toxins are coming out so it can finally heal. It's all part of the process. But I feel called to do it in a different way, in a different manner, from a different vantage point, with different approach. And this global experience, intentional impact program itself, is created with this different attitude, different energy, because what we're looking to create goes beyond anything you can possibly imagine in your wildest dreams. And it's something that it's beyond anything that my clients and I have created thus far, because it consists of every single individual piece of the work that we have done in the past, put together, intensified, amplified, and I get chills when I just think about those brave, courageous, determined, driven, committed individuals who will choose to step up, who will choose to get beyond their comfort zone and are gonna dare to tap into the higher vision, and will want to and will request for the energy and space to be held for them to grow into at tremendous speed. I get so excited just thinking about it, feeling into it with all my senses, because when I close my eyes, this is exactly where we are. I can feel it for you, I can smell it for you, I can taste it for you. And those 3 destinations that are available to you for the global experience, for private intensive retreat, I have been to every single one of them. One is my native country, another one is my adopted home, and the other one is my soul's vacation space, so to speak. I mean, they're powerful places by themselves on their own. So brought to you in this whole package, life-changing, absolutely life-changing. And yes, it is a big promise, but I 100% stand behind it. And as for those of you who are still kind of, tippy-toeing, who know that you want to move forward and who know that I'm the one you want to work with at this point, but you're not quite there yet, because let's be honest, not everybody is ready and not everybody will qualify for the global experience. We do have VIP days, we do have deep dive intensives where we can get a lot accomplished, we can shift a ton of paradigms, we can up level your mindset and energy and your strategies and your actions, get you clear, get your fun back and your fulfillment. And it doesn't have to be this, whole platform, but it can be a bite size compared to the whole platform. So if this sounds more like you, if you want to take it step by step as opposed to the whole leap, hey, that's available to you as well. However, what I want you to hear in all of that is that thinking and aspiring to one day be able to get there and sitting in a corner and journaling about it, thinking that that is all that manifestation actually is and that's all you have to do to make it happen, I'm gonna be blunt with you, it's not. It's just a part of it. And even when you say that you want to do something and you say yes, but you're still giving in and believing the old stories and playing it safe and allowing your rationale to win over, I have news for you. Those quantum leaps, those big dreams that you are envisioning and that you're striving and aspiring to realize, there's nothing rational about any one of those. So that comes point in time when you literally have to consciously and intentionally say, screw it, I'm doing this. It's not logical, it doesn't make sense to anybody but your heart and your soul. And when your heart and your soul know, there's no way of arguing with either one of them, because they're gonna win. They're gonna win. It only comes down to how hard do you want it. Do you want it to be simple and enjoyable, or do you want it to be painful and hard? I would imagine you want to go for simple and enjoyable. I know that I would. So yeah, that's my message to you when it comes to aspiration, when it comes to evolution and growth and daring to move past shame and guilt. Because at any one of those moments, any one of those decisions, any one of those choices along the way, yes, there's going to be shame, there's going to be guilt coming up. Again, this rationale is going to be kicking in. And like I said earlier, when I was listening to the conversation between Denise and Ali, something that Denise said really hit home. And it could be a cultural thing, but I don't think it's because I'm European and she's Australian. I think this really relates to anybody. And what she was talking about was that when she started making money with her business, talking to people, and when she told her mom that she booked a speaking gig for, what did she say? A speaking gig for like $500, which was equivalent to her mom's whole week's salary cleaning people's houses and watching after them and really working hard. She said that she remembers seeing her mom's eyes, and a part of it was so proud, a part of it was super confused and disappointed, like, how is this possible, right? And how Denise felt guilty and ashamed in that very moment, when something that she's really has been aspiring to create, when she finally got there, the person that was closest to her caused and triggered those conflicted emotions. And that is a part of the dance that we all are doing. Whether you are looking at your parents' eyes and you're explaining them with fire and with, sparkles about the work that you do and how much easier it is on you compared to what they had to do in their life. Whether it's your spouse, whether it's your kids. I can tell you from my own personal experience how often I felt guilty when I was hustling and grinding, creating and building up my business when my girls were in front of TV, or when I was trying to play with them and I kept looking over to my phone, or when I would snap at them because a prospect earlier had said no, and I felt so powerless that when I asked my girls to do something and they said no, I got triggered and I felt powerless, and I just, you know, it was a mess. But it took a lot of work for me to first identify that pattern and then work through it and get to the point where there's absolutely no shame, there's absolutely no guilt. I am very intentional of how my time is spent, where my energy goes, and what emotions, you know, do come up and get associated with different things. And when sadness, when anger, when guilt, when frustration, when shame come up, I love on them, you know, but I don't let them run over everything else and rule my day or week or month like they used to. It takes self-mastery after self-awareness, of course, and that is a big part of any work that we get to do together. Because what I have learned along the way, in my own evolution from business consultant and strategist with this external approach, was that that's all there is. It's just external, and it only takes you this far. And for real transformation, for real exponential and lasting and sustainable and scalable results, it takes the inner game. And the same things that allow for quantum leaps in revenues are the same ones that allow for manifesting a soulmate, are the same ones that can save your marriage from divorce, are the same ones that turn you from a bitter mom into a very conscious one, amazing one for your kids, the one who is aware and fully present and fulfilled and happy and calm with that peace of mind. Those are the same things that are gonna call in your ideal clients, as opposed to the ones who want your arm and a leg 24/7 and refuse to do the work that's required of them to do. And then you have to dig deep to get that bitch coming out, and you try to channel one of your coaches and mentors that's not even your character, but you're just trying so hard to get them moving along that before you know it, you lose yourself in this whole thing, right? I know you get the point. I know that there might have been quite a few triggering things for you here, and if so, I would be curious why there is, what is coming up. And I do invite you, I actually urge you to really take an honest look. We're coming on to October. I want you to take an honest look where you are in your life, in your business, as a parent, as a woman, as a spouse, as a man. I know there's a couple of you in here. Thank you for sharing this space with us. As an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a mentor, as a trailblazer, as a whatever role is that you play, I want you to take an honest look around and really objectively assess whether or not you are where you thought you would be at this point. And I can guarantee you're not, because there's always something that we're striving to, and there's always something more that we aspire to. It's a natural process. It has to be that way. Otherwise, what's the point of living if at one point you turn around and like, yeah, that's it, I'm done. However, there's a very different way when you come to the space and you're like, yeah, this is it. What's next? And you are moving to it with this excitement, versus, oh crap, this is nowhere near and I suck. And you give yourself this self-talk that, if you dare to say those words out loud to somebody else, you would get arrested. There's a huge difference. And even if you don't meet, and even if you're not where you want it to be, how you're approaching the thing will determine whether or not you are actually gonna get there with ease and grace and in leaps and bounds, or you're gonna have to muscle and push and grind to get there at the expense of your sanity and relationships and happiness and fulfillment and joy and all the stuff that when you go back to your drawing board and why you started your business to begin with, all of those things, none of those things are present when you have to grind and hustle and muscle through and pretend and do all the crazy stuff that a lot of us had settled to do until we made a conscious decision that no, we're no longer available for it. So let me know what's coming up. Share with me, I'll be curious to know what your aspirations are. I'll be curious to know what that feeling was for you when you turn around. It's like, oh my gosh, whether it's a mentor that you wanted to work with for so long and you finally got a chance to work with them, whether it's a point when you turn around, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I outgrew this mentor. I can't believe we're equals now. I can't believe that they are looking up for advice. I want you to celebrate how far you've came. I want you to acknowledge this process of evolution and growth for yourself. And I want you to reframe and reconsider the path that is opening up for you and that you're blazing trails. Yes. Can you look for it from a different perspective with different energy through a different lens, and just see how everything will start to shift the moment that you choose to do so? And that is what I really call that freedom, when you're no longer a prisoner of this confining old patterns and beliefs and tactics and strategies and ways of doing things and definitions and expectations. But you really get to call your own shots. You really get to choose how you will feel about it, how you see certain things, how you think about certain things, how you perceive them, and how you make them into your own reality. How much ease, how much grace, how much fun, how much fulfillment, how much freedom you allow into your life, how much abundance you allow to come in. And I know a lot of those seem like buzzwords, but they are absolutely not when you know how to tap into them, when you know how to internalize that energy and be all that you can be through that. And that is the space that calls me forward, that I am stepping into, and it feels so expansive. It feels so calm. It feels so rewarding, and it feels so loving. And I'm at the loss of words. But when I first started to notice that I'm evolving and stepping into the space was when I looked around at some of my own mentors and people that I used to aspire to work with, and was like, that no longer resonates. It's too small. It's too painful. It just didn't align anymore. And I want you to celebrate it for yourself when you come to that space. And when you're ready to step up, let's explore what that would look like for you, whether it's the global expansion, the global experience, or whether it's an intensive. Let's talk, let's make your plan. Let's create the space for you to step and grow into. Let's find ways for you to aspire and be inspired by. Okay? You know where to find me. I am here. And when we do work together, yes, I will love on you and I will call you out. You can go and read testimonials on my website to acquaint yourself with other clients' experiences. It doesn't mean that yours is going to be exactly the same, but get ready for leaps and bounds regardless. Love to you. Talk to you later. Bye.